I would say that we are at a peak of creativity and viewing. TV remains in good health because TV works. People love watching TV, and there are a lot of myths about younger people not watching TV and so on, which are quite false. They just may be watching them differently. But also, TV completely, supremely works as an advertising medium and delivers ROI for advertisers. So if TV continues to sustain and grow and stay robust, it's because it's a medium that always reinvents itself, but also really delivers results.
So there's clearly been huge changes over the last decade, most obviously the growth and development of streaming at scale. How has Paramount changed its commissioning strategy and its approach to commissioning content to accommodate this new reality?
So the question is, how do we, as a major broadcaster, think about streaming? We've always said that the consumer is in control. You can't control where she watches, what time she watches, and so on. Our job is to make the content available to the consumer, domestically and globally, when they want, how they want. And what we find in the case of CBS is a good 70-75% of viewing is the same day. And then there's VOD and SAVOD and SVOD and AVOD and streaming and everything else. But the overall ecosystem is not just healthy, it is growing while there's a strong linear and live play as well.
So we also know that global economies of scale are becoming more and more important, and you're obviously part of a major international diversified media company. How do you leverage those economies? Give us some examples of global content creation and how that works.
So if you go to virtually any country in the world, you will see CBS content. You will see NCIS and all of its denominations and all of its forms in homes across the world, because that kind of content travels extremely well. People like good and evil. People like heroes to win. And we're very good at that story of justice. But the way we're thinking about it under the leadership of George Cheeks more recently is how we can scale it even further. There is IP, and what IP can we import as well as export, but how do we also think about production globally and take advantage of this global scale to have production that's high quality and affordable?
So you're a research professional. You've worked in the data measurement analytics space for many years. Has it got harder or easier to understand the appeal and performance of your content?
So the question is the job of a research leader harder or easier? I would say that it's incredibly more complex, but that makes it incredibly more fun. It's actually more fun to deal with a multiplicity of data sources, to triangulate them and tell a richer story of the consumer than to have one place or one system spit out a number for you. So it is taking all of our intellectual prowess and a good degree of time and effort, but also makes the job much more rewarding and fun.
So, final closing question. We spoke yesterday about the priorities for the industry in the years ahead. If there's one thing we need to get right as an industry, what would you recommend focusing on?
So I think we need to not panic. I hear a lot of anxiety, I hear a lot of panic, but if we go back to what we are here to do, which is produce great content and make it available in all kinds of formats, that still remains core and we remain good at that. And my one caution would be, and you asked about the 2020s, right? I have a measurement rule around 2020, which is at least in the US, about at least 20% of the viewing is over the air, and the broadband only number is only about 20%. It's very easy to overstate BBO only and to understate broadcast or OTA. So my one cautionary tale would be to really pay attention to the data and make sure it's representative of today's customer.